Hey everyone, had some people asking for a new tier list with the release of the new crown units, so here we go. So we got triple S, double S, a unique tier for a few units that you can use in unique situations, SAB, and some stinker units. So we're just gonna get the A tier done real quick off the bat. We got IMT Guan Yu, got Zhang He, Zhang Lao, Zhu Jie Long, Xiao Qiao, and Zhu Sheng, but you might still need him if you don't have Sun Tzu's Heroic Soul leveled up high enough that he can apply his own burns. So if you still need him on your team, by all means use him. He's not bad at all. He's just, he's basically there for burns for Sun Tzu with the bonus of the stuns, right? We got IMT Huangzong, and last we got IMT Zhang Fei. And I know you want all the IMT and Fabled units, so we're just gonna get B tier out of the way real quick as well. Got Guan Yu, Qiao Qiao, Sima Yi, Qiao Ren, Dian Wei, Xiao Hu Dun, Guo Jia, Lady Zhen, Song Fei, Zhao Yu, Huan Yeying, Jiang Wei, Ma Chao, Taishi Si, Zhao Yun, Liu Bei, Huang Gai, Dong Zhuo, Sun Quan, Sun Si, Lu Zhu, Da Qiao, Yu Ji, Dao Chen, Hua Tuo, Yuan Shao, Lu Bu, Gongshen Zan, Liu Shan, Jia Zhu, Zhu Zi, and Zhong Hui. None of these are really in any order. If you wanted to reorder the A tier, probably look something similar to this. All the rest will be in order though. So next up, we finally got our triple S tier. We got Qiao Qiao, or Crown Qiao Qiao. Deals AoE damage that deals higher damage to one unit. He also applies a rain mark that deals damage and ignores defense and also lowers their damage towards Qiao Qiao. He self-generates rage and disables control effects on himself and self-buffs crit rate and crit damage. And his crown skill deals big damage to one unit and smaller damage to the other two units. And can boost his skill damage up to 280%, which is just crazy. He can do extra attacks, buff his final damage reduction up to 80%, reduce damage taken by 20%, buff his crown skill damage by up to 400%, and even ignore fatal damage while shielding himself or even reviving himself. These crown units are they're crazy. Next up, we got IMT Zhao Yun going to S tier. You know him by now. Tons of damage buffs, tons of attacks, a good candidate to link to the Crown Liu Bei as well. Next up, we got Nuwa going into SS tier. She's incredibly good. She increases your team's survivability a lot. She's going to be healing, removing debuffs, increasing damage reduction with just her main skill. She basically won't be hurt in the first 6 attacks because she takes only 99%, or only 1% damage. She reduces it by 99%. She can revive a unit once per battle, gives tons of shields to all allies. The shield can reflect damage. She's also got some other damage reduction stuff. She's really good at survivability for your team. Then we got Sun Wukong going into SS tier. Pretty good damage dealer. If you're on an earlier server and you're just getting into these Fabled units, he's going to be, I think he's the first one. He's a pretty safe bet to pour a lot of summons into. Does AoE damage, can cast his skill twice, has a 100% crit rate buff for the first turn. Pretty good chance at skill pursuits. Can be buffing his attack and defense, skill damage, damage bonus, damage reduction. He can also attack up to 4 times, 3 of which are skill pursuits, and he gains 2 stacks of his monkey buff. He'll ignore invincible shields and unyielding effects, which is really good. He can also add an additional 120% damage to his attack. Just a great all-around damage dealer. Really nice that he hits through invincible shields and unyielding. IMT Qiao Qiao going into S tier. Still pretty decent. Rage stealing, invincible shields, lets an officer take an extra turn. She can also prevent healing and reduce shields by 50%, which is really good. She'll do a bit of damage with her debuffs. She pairs really well with IMT Sun Tzu. So she's still decent, but just not used as much anymore. Next we got IMT Zhu Jie Long going into S tier. If you have the rage setup where you don't need a rage generator, he'll drop a tier for you. But for most people, well, a lot of people I've seen are still using him for rage generation. He's going to be buffing your attack, crit rate, crit res, as well as healing. Martial Soul gives some shielding, healing, some pursuit basic attack damage reduction, magic shield, and Martial Soul 5, he can make everybody take a skill pursuit basic attack. But he's mostly there for all the rage he generates. Fabled Elsa is going into our unique tier. Good chance to inflict Arctic, which is a damage over time debuff, which can stack and increase the damage it deals by 300%. It'll also be healing Elsa and 1 random ally. Self-buffs crit rate up to 100% and can deal triple crit damage until the end of battle. What's really good about her though is her Frigid debuff. This can hit up to 4 units per turn. because she can cast her skill twice, and it just completely shuts down pursuits. And it'll also increase the target's final damage taken while reducing their shield and healing. Next up, we got Fabled Chong, I don't know, Fabled Change going to Stinker. She's kind of like a Guan Yu, but extra. She deals high single target damage that heals herself, also buffs her attack and gives herself shields. She can survive a fatal hit by transferring the damage to an ally, which is not nice of her. She can also just revive when an ally dies. She just doesn't really contribute much besides high single target damage. Next up, we got Fabled Nizza going into SS tier. Got a pretty strong burn debuff, ignores defense, and can't be dispelled or resisted. He's got a chance to follow up any ally's attack with his own attack that will have a crit rate buff. Gonna be buffing his attack and damage bonus after each attack. Basic attack can inflict his Firestorm debuff. And after every 10 actions, it'll hit every enemy with a Firestorm. When offers with Firestorm take damage, they'll also take extra Firestorm damage up to 5 times in 8 stacks. And at 15 stacks, it'll morph into Firestorm Wheel, which will buff its damage and can cause burst, dealing 10% max HP damage, which will ignore Unyielding and Invincible, which is really good, and other effects. Just really good damage dealer. IMT Sunseas next up, going into SS tier. Still capable of some really good damage. And you know what he does by now. He's detonating fire, flame, and burn debuffs while buffing his crit rate and skill damage and debuffing enemies' attacks. Gonna be dealing pursuit damage with the crit damage buff, really good damage dealer. He's got to get his true fire stacks up quickly, and he needs some burns to play off of, so if you don't have his Heroic Soul leveled up high enough, you're gonna have to use Zhu Sheng. I think at Heroic Soul 5, he can start to apply his own burns, but at 20, they're guaranteed to apply. Next, we got IMT Lu Bu going into S tier. Still pretty decent, he can deal some substantial damage, but he needs a lot of help. He's going to be doing a lot of basic attack damage AoEs with his counterattacks, up to 5 per turn. He's also going to punish people for stockpiling Rage with his Slaughter from his Martial Soul. And each time an enemy loses HP because of Slaughter, he does another basic AoE attack. And he's also going to be healing himself quite a bit. Next up, we got Fabled Hou Yi going into Stinker. He's really good at bashing his head against the wall, dealing a lot of damage to the invincible and unyielding units, just doing a whole bunch of nothing because he's just attacking people who aren't taking damage, really. Now we got Ninetales going into S tier. Basically an improved version of Huangzong. She can stun, well, it's basically a stun. She can forbid rage regen, has a 100% chance on her skill and 30% chance at the battle start. She's going to be buffing team crit rate, crit damage, and attack a little bit every time a charm hits. She can also deal some HP based damage. She's kind of just a jack of all trades, master of none. So you can use her in certain situations. Actually, I think I meant to put her in unique, not S tier. My bad. Just kind of a bit of both, I guess. We got Fabled Yan Lo next, going into Stinker. She's got a damage over time debuff that can't even be stacked. She debuffs enemies a bit, lets an ally take an extra action, reduces rage a bit, and reduces enemies' healing and shields by a pretty good amount. Doesn't really do enough of anything though to include her in any team. And she was the last unit released, I'm pretty sure, and they really ended on a Stinker unit. Next up, we got Crown Lu Bu going into triple S tier. He does AoE damage like the other Lu Bus. He can stack damage reduction as well as basic attack and skill resist. He also ignores any damage over 40% of his max HP, just like Blessing Servant, or Stratagem. Calling them servants because they have the game. His kit largely revolves around Soul Recall. It's his unique ability. Stacks his buffs with, and he also damages with, which in turn is going to heal him. His crown skill reduces enemy basic attack resist, buffs allies defense and final damage reduction, and gives him Soul Recall stacks. Soul Recall will buff his basic attack damage by a lot, and when he takes fatal damage, he gains Unyielding and restores HP while gaining 7 stacks of Soul Recall, and then doing an AoE, which is going to heal him again. Pretty tanky unit. Fabled Apsara's next, and she's going into unique tier as well. She like heavily buffs units' damage output by like a lot, but neither her nor the ally she buffs is going to be able to act in the first turn, although they won't be able to be killed either. The buffed ally will also be able to restrict rage and healing on the unit that they dealt the highest damage to, as well as be able to ignore invincible and unyielding. Apsara will also be generating rage, so she can either help you a lot by increasing your damage a ton, or mess you up in the first turn and cause you to die. So she's really unique, buffs crazy damage. The ally can hit through invincible and unyielding, although there are better people to do that. Fabled Pangu next up, going into SS tier. He's going to be banishing enemies, reducing enemy rage, he can stun enemies, but most importantly, he can allow banished enemies to still be attacked while also making them take extra damage. He'll also let his banished allies still take action while he himself is immune to being banished, and the only good counter to a maxed out Pangu is your own maxed out Pangu. And last but not least, we got Crown Liu Bei going into triple S tier right at the top. Currently the best unit in the game in my opinion. He does AoE damage and can buff his final damage and final damage reduction up to 210% each, which is wild. Also 70% skill damage if that wasn't enough. He deals extra damage to shielded targets and ignores control, can buff his attack by 60%, but what makes him special is every action has a 25% chance to ignore invincible and unyielding. He'll also cast a skill before death and then revive himself. He's going to cast a skill again after killing an enemy and can also skill pursuit up to 3 times in a turn. He gets attack and damage buffs after killing an enemy, and he can buff his crown skill damage up to 300%, which attacks 3 enemies, well 3 random enemies. He's going to deal a crap ton of damage while doing pursuit attacks and all the while hitting through invincible and unyielding, and then dealing an extra 60% damage to shielded enemies. We all know the shields are an issue. Definitely number 1 candidate for crown unit to add to the team out of the 3 we've got so far. And I've seen him out damage entire other teams and basically be immortal too. I don't know if it was like a missing skill description, but pretty sure I've seen videos of him like die and then come back and die and come back over and over. But yeah, that is the new tier list, including the crown units. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll catch you next time. See ya.